Yo, we've been in this neighborhood for 30-some years. Come on,
Keep this
Tanya.
hood safe.
Yo,
Keep this hood
and
safe.
this whole neighborhood.
No to the
they
colonizers.
No to the colonizers.
No to the colonizers.
They are taking over the
They're
neighborhood.
going back to their colonial roots.
Gentrification is genocide.
They came here to colonize and they're still colonizing.
Yeah, and we need affordable housing. I could line up tomorrow in 5 seconds thousands of people that have lived, made money in this neighborhood, done whatever. I could line up thousands of people that need decent, accessible, affordable housing. And so when they just come into our neighborhoods, and decide that they're going to call the shots, what kind of parking there's going to be, what kind of units there's going to be, whether or not they're going to relate to the people that have lived here their whole life and raised their children and taken them to Moffett Elementary School. I don't think so.
This is ethnic cleansing, sanitized. The same way they cleanse the indigenous, the same way they cleanse around the world. Instead of germ warfare, instead of the barrel of a gun, the sheath of a sword, they're coming in here with developers, they're coming in here with the upper crust and the buppies and the yuppies, and it's ethnic cleansing, and we say no to sanitized ethnic cleansing. This is a ethnic community, and it should stay ethnic. It should stay affordable, and if they want to improve something, give affordable housing to the people that have homestead this area. We say no to the colonizers.
And the politicians.
The politicians.
If they ain't out here speaking loud about this issue, they're just as guilty. What they do, they make backroom deals.
Gentlemen's agreement.
Deals and gentlemen's agreement, while the neighbors and the people that live here and are trying to live can't live.
They have put a black face on a white agenda. This couldn't happen if it started with Wilson Good, and this is the fruit of W. Wilson Good, what you're seeing here today. This is the fruit of elected Wilson Good.
Hey, guys, good evening, buenas noches. Necesitamos 2 minutos. We need at least 2 minutes so we can go over the ground rules and also announce some of the speakers that we have and actually explain the reason why we're here. But I'm going to please ask all of you to remain on the sidewalk. We don't want anybody on the street blocking traffic. Actually, we were the ones that yesterday called the local police precinct to make them aware that we were holding this demonstration because we want to make sure that it goes well, and that on the other side, since there was an inference that they didn't feel safe, we want to make sure that they have a lot of police protection. So, and we really appreciate the fact that the police officers are here. We do. Mi nombre es Nilda Pimentel. Yo soy solamente I'm only one of many residents that have organized themselves as the Norris Square Community Action Network, NSCAN, actually to not only protest the development across the street, and we'll get into details later on about the different aspects of the development and why we're opposing, partially opposing the development. But also to make people aware in this neighborhood that they do have power, that they have a voice, that they need to exercise their God-given right, the constitutional right, although there were some people that were opposing that, to protest and to call it like it is when there is either injustice or when there is an issue that is going to impact their life. Developers come and go. They're in the business to make money. We don't blame them, but they are allowed to build what they build because the city allows them to. And we have to make the city accountable for their policies, which are fueling gentrification, displacement. So this is not an attack on the developer per se. Personally, we want to refrain from personal attacks that will not get us anywhere, and it will keep us distracted on the real issue, which is to fight the city and to fight elected officials that benefit from huge amounts of contributions from developers, the real estate industry, and a mayor, if I might call it gentrifier in chief, that is fueling this type of policies. And to the extent that not only renters but homeowners that are here, homeowners that have been living in this neighborhood for 40, 45 years are here. We have firemen, we have teachers, we have social workers, we have working people, we have poor people. And the power of this activity is that it's very diverse and everybody's here. And they were open to the call that we made to mobilize and make their voices heard. So we thank you. But the most important thing is for us to continue this work, because this is not the first and it's not going to be the last development, and this is not going to be the first nor the one protest demonstration that is going to have to be organized to keep the pressure on city officials and to make them understand that this community and many other communities cannot continue to absorb density. You cannot build 88 units and 26 parking. The city cannot continue granting property tax abatements in the millions of dollars from your money, your taxpayers' dollars that would not come into the neighborhood in the form of taxes, revenue for schools, public schools, for newcomers. We need to keep the money here for the long-time residents and to benefit people and to build more affordable housing for the people that need it. The other issue that we have is that we went house by house a month ago to document chronic diseases, illnesses, health illnesses in this neighborhood. We have on our literature table a list of all the chronic diseases reported, self-reported by residents. We have more than 6 people with cancer, 3 under therapy, 3 cancer survivors, 7 people, if not more, that have to sleep with a CPAP machine. We have babies, we have women pregnant, and we have over 15 or 17 people with asthma and respiratory conditions. We said to the developer a month and a half ago when we met, and please, the people that are members of the steering committee, correct me if I misunderstood, that the developer was going to share the asbestos removal plan and the dust control plan. That building has asbestos. Right now, we don't know if the asbestos have been removed from the windows or not. We have not been contacted until, I think it was yesterday, and I'm not lying, although the developer says that we were not contacted to let us know whether the asbestos has been removed, whether an asbestos plan is going to be submitted or has been submitted, and whether a dust control plan has been prepared. He claimed today that it hasn't, so we want to see the dust control plan and we want to see the asbestos removal plan or evidence that the asbestos have been removed. And if it was removed, we should have known first.
Right.
We should have known first.
You're right. Atta girl.
Another demand that we made concerns the residents of Hope Street behind that property. That street is 25 feet wide. It hardly has sidewalks. And we asked the developer to set back the building from the ground 8 feet the other day when we went to the City Planning Commission hearing. He would not do it. We feel that there's going to be what is called an encroachment, and it's going to be dangerous for the residents in the area. He did agree, I have to say, to more lights, install more lights, cameras, but we still have to sit down and see the construction plan to ensure safe passage or mobility of pedestrians on both sides. And we also want the streets department to address the issues of the residents of Hope Street. So there is a host of issues that we presented. He agreed to some, I have to say, that he agreed to a couple. But the major ones, which are parking, reversing the entrance, so in that way cars don't go into Hope Street from Howard. We asked him to reverse it. They said they will be open to that. We want to make sure that the majority of the recommendations that the community has made that are implemented to the extent possible. I also have to say, because it's the truth, that when we met with a council member on the 19th of June, a group of residents, although she said, when we asked her to share with her that the community was opposing the ADA units, that we didn't reject the project outright. We said you can build up to 56. That's how much you can absorb, because the number of residents that are going to occupy that building are going to duplicate the entire amount of people that live on this block, which are 73 people. So we said to her to please support, but basically her position was that it's inevitable what is happening in the neighborhood in terms of the density. However, she did agree to work with the streets department to address the issues of the residents of Hope Street, and also to secure some subsidies for families, working families, that wanted to move into the building if the units on the ground floor were converted to 2 bedrooms. So I have to say that because it's the truth. So aside from this development, what we want to make you aware is that there is approximately 525 units of market rate housing being built right now in the area. We have a list of all those developments on our literature table. And what we want to do is to keep the pressure, to make phone calls, and also through social media to document all the development that is taking place, and see if as one group, and we have many groups within this coalition, it's a loose coalition, to see if we can unite forces and go before the council member and the city officials to make sure that more affordable housing, well, not affordable, because they define affordability in a totally different way. It's affordable for the folks that live here that make less than $22,000 a year. To them, affordable is $50,000 a year, the area median income. Our area median income is $22,300. So we want to make sure that the city, that the community benefits, because all this development is taking place on the back of poor people. So I just want to go over, before we start with a chance, go over the ground rules. If somebody could give me a copy. My apologies, I don't have a copy of the ground rules. We just want to make sure, folks, that we stay on the sidewalk. We are going to move into that side. I know that it's sunny, unless you want to stay on this side that we don't have any sun. So we're going to stay on this side to protest. And we ask the indulgence of the police because we don't know we have so many people. We don't know we're going to be able to fit everyone on the sidewalk. So we'll keep it tight. And can I have the copy of the ground rules, please?
I don't see it on here.
Yes, there is on the left-hand side.
We don't care about rules.
Okay, while we get the ground rules, the sheet, we want to announce that we have a couple of special guests here with us that represent organizations that have been working in this city for a long, long, long time, fighting for not only housing, but economic justice. That's the issue, economic justice. So we have Sherry Honkala from the People's Army. We have Pastor Keith Collins of the Poor People's Army. We want to call them up so they could say a few words before we start the demonstration. We also have from the Community Liberation Center, the Party for Socialism and Liberation, and folks, it looks like socialism is getting mainstream where Bernie Sanders is running, so he's getting a platform. So we welcome any group that is fighting for equity and economic justice. They're welcome. It's more than we have in common. So we just need a representative from that group here also. And we want to call, we defer to them, that the elders, although I'm not that young myself, but I just got, the other day turned 65. But we always defer to the block captains. And we have the 3 block captains here, one representing her mom, the block captain, Jackie Beltran. We have Margie Hernandez, and we have Carmen Jimenez. So give it up for them. We want to give them first. We're going to give the mic to them first so they can come up and say a few words, and then we'll start the ball rolling.
Okay, here we go.
Jackie.
Jackie.
Hey there, sweetie. Hi, Jackie. Speak for both of us.
Okay, we're speaking for everybody here. I want you to just imagine for a second that you are in your home right now, enjoying your TV, having dinner, and then one day somebody knocks and says, you gotta move. And you only have 24 hours to do it. How would you feel? Heck no, that doesn't go. And let me tell you something, there is an equality here that's not equal for everybody. So we welcome, we in the community on Howard Street, the neighbors there, we are all for change. We are all for good stuff. Have you imagined all the times that we have fought to get things done here? And it was never done, and all of a sudden now everything is getting done. Wow, what a miracle overnight. Because, why? Because now there's a difference. There's somebody else asking. Not the poor, but the people that have got money to come into the neighborhood. Okay, so now we welcome you. We want you here, but we want to share the space. And we want it to be equal. Guess what? Equal means that we can afford it. Okay? That's what equal means. Don't push us out. Don't tell us that we can't be here. And let's work together to make a difference. And if you think that this neighborhood is exclusive, heck no. It's coming everywhere. It's going to come to your neighborhood next. So those that are supporting us, those that live here, and those that do not live here, can make a difference, because we will stand for what's going to be the future. We want to be able to make a difference in this neighborhood. People on Hope Street are having enough problems. We have problems in the city of Philadelphia with parking. Okay, now we understand. We're not blaming, like you had said before, the builder. Okay, he's going by his own right. Yes, okay. Who allows that? Who, are we blinded that we can't see that politicians are just doing whatever they want for their best interest? No, it's our best interest. It's not even mine, it's ours. So we have to start working together and stop taking, no, this is the way it's going to be as the answer. We can show them the way it's going to be by explaining to them that if we stick together and we're unified, saying, no, we deserve more. We deserve to put the people that we want there to work with us. Not for us, not against us, but with us. Okay, Howard Power.
The block captains don't want to speak. Okay. Well, give it up now for big fighter in this community and in the city, Sherry Hankala.
Hello. Now, I can tell you that I have lived on just about every single block in this neighborhood for the last 30 years. And maybe it was in a tent. Maybe it was marching in the streets. Maybe it was going to jail in every other block. Because people like one of the women that is with us today that I'm not going to call out loud, they start with gentrification. You start with not being able to pay your rent. And then you enter the Philadelphia City Women's Shelter, and then they close it down. And then the $200 you get a month while you're in that city shelter, they end in the state of Pennsylvania because you're living too high on the hog on $200.
Shame.
What kind of country, what kind of city do we live in? I am dedicated to stand with the residents of this neighborhood where my son Guillermo is embarrassed and he's hiding someplace because he knows everybody. And went to Moffett Elementary School and has marched all these corners. But he knows these are his friends. These are the people that he loves. And why is it that places like Kensington Court, you have to have $250,000 to live there, and they're full to capacity? And why, when I went into the co-op there on the corner, and I asked about low-income membership, I needed $125 or something. I was like, okay, I know why some of the stores are coming, because they didn't want to end a food desert for poor people, for low-income people, for people that live on $22,000 a year. They're preparing for the rich people in this community. They're preparing to take away the culture of this community. Just like they did with Puerto Rico, they're doing with Puerto Rico, going in, stealing the land, ending the culture, putting big developers and speculators there. They're doing it here. And it's up to us to stand together and do something about it. Because these guys, I'm not talking about the Onion Flats, don't worry, Nilda. But I'm telling you, I know about developers, because as soon as this was listed, they tried to friend me on Facebook and Instagram and you whatever. Well, guess what? We ain't afraid of the politicians. We ain't afraid of those corrupt bastards. And we ain't afraid of you.
Pastor Keith Collins. Pastor.
Good afternoon. The scripture says that God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. So we are not afraid of the developer. We're not afraid of the politicians. We're not afraid of whoever is behind this project. We have a sound mind and we love ourselves. We're here to say that this spirit of gentrification is nothing more than the spirit of colonization, which is the first spirit that the Europeans brought here hundreds of years ago when they colonized and then when they committed genocide against the indigenous people and then they enslaved the African people. But this is a much more sanitized way of coming into a community without the barrel of a gun, without the sheath of a sword, without germ warfare and eradicating the people. It's sanitized, but we are not afraid of what they're trying to do, because we're here today saying we know what your plan is. We know what your agenda is. And it's up to people like you. This capitalistic greed, it's not need, it's greed. They don't need to do this, but they're greedy. They're voracious. And as has already been said, there is no safe space. If we bow down, if you lay down now, this versus this community, they already did it in Point Breeze. They did it in what they're doing it at 52nd Street, my hood where I grew up, where I was born. They're doing it in North Philadelphia. They're doing it in West Oak Lane. They're doing it in Germany. That they are voracious. So we must take a stand. We must love one another, because there are people that definitely don't love us. And yes, they will eradicate your culture. Right now, they are painting over black murals that the city painted. They're painting them over. That's how horrible these people. They're taking down African historical landmarkers put up by the historic, and they'll do the same thing in this community. if we don't take a stand. So I'm here to say, they say that this is the land of the free and the home of the brave. Let's see. I'm a decorated veteran. I'm a decorated paratrooper. I'm also an ex-cop, by the way. But I'm here to say we have all these freedoms, but how come we're not free to have our own communities and to let our own communities grow and flourish in the manner in which we decide? We say self-determination. We should be free from outside influence. We should say community control of the police and community control of your community. You deserve that. You work for that. We have working class people here. We have poor people here. We have veterans here. We have people that have served this country. And we say that it's time for the last to be first and the first to be last. We're going to be with you. Thank you.
Yes. El pueblo está en la calle y no hay nadie quien lo pare. Okay. Our last speaker is a representative, is Timur from the Community Liberation Center.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Can I hear you say, all power to the people? All power to the people! All power to the people! No power to these gentrifiers! That's right, y'all. Now look, when we talk about gentrification, when we talk about Onion Flats, we can see this building across the street, right? This is what they want to develop. They want to build a luxury apartment building that's going to go up, you know, half again as high. It's going to block out the sun. It's going to make a big ruckus on this street that people do not want to live with. And they don't care about what people in this community think about that. By the time people in this community heard about this development, it was already set in stone. At the first meeting, I think it was in June, they brought it to us to ask if we approved it or denied it, and everyone voted unanimously to deny it. But what does that mean? Nothing, because it was already going through. They told us as much. It was already approved. When we went to the CDR, the Civic Design Review, we went and testified, and they told them, look, you should take it off of the street. Hope Street's only 25 feet wide. It's a narrow street. Right. It's going to create problems for pedestrians. The city told them that, but they have no power to hold them to that, because the CDR can only make recommendations. The community has no real way to, in the process, to make a difference about what's happening with developments like this. And that's why we're out here on the street, because that's the power that we can build with each other. We have to build solidarity in this neighborhood, because when the politicians and the developers are not listening to us, we have to make them listen by building unity in our communities. That's right. Can I hear you say power to the people? Fist up. All power to the people. All power to the people. That's right, y'all, and I'll close on this. Look, we need self-determination. As the man said before me, for our community, we need to be able to control our own destiny. And we also have to look at developments like this Onion Flats development as not just an isolated incident. We have to look at this as the branch of a tree. And we want to uproot the tree. No, we want to uproot the weed, right? We want to pull this weed out of the ground. And when we get to the roots of the weed, what do we find? We find ongoing collaboration between banks, developers, and politicians. That's how this is allowed to happen. We got to look at this. We got to look at the other branches of the tree. Walk around this neighborhood for 5 minutes. You'll see some of them. We know what they look like. We know what the condominiums look like. All right. So when we build power, we have to direct it in the right direction. We have to take on projects on this small level. We have to fight projects like Onion Flats, but we also have to fight at the highest level. We have to build power to change the system and change the fact that profits are the only way that anything gets done. If there's money involved, that's how something gets done, right? That's why they're building here. And if it wasn't Onion Flats, it'd be somebody else, because this is a valuable property and someone wants to build one-bedroom apartments instead of family homes because they can fit more on a square footage, make a little bit more money. They want to build one-bedroom apartments that cost $1,400 a month that most of us can't afford, even more than that, right? So we have to come together, we have to build unity and build power above all else for each other and fight for our neighbors so we can control the destiny of this neighborhood and we don't go the way of Fishtown and Northern Liberties. Because here in Norris Square, we're going to build power and we're going to take care of each other. All right, thank you. Power to the people.
Power to the people. Let's go. Hurry up. I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
They tried to bury us, literally, yeah.
The lady here's trying to move her car.
Sure,
Just for 1 second.
sure.
Thank you.
Bye.
They tried to bury us, literally, like seeds on the ground. But what they don't realize is that seeds, when they're planted, they grow. And I think something has grown out of this. Situation, and that's the understanding that we all have something in common, irrespective of our political ideology, party affiliation, status, economic status, educational status. And like Dr. King said, we are part of the thread that holds all of us together. And we have to realize that, because even though poor people or people don't have enough resources, may not have power, they have to tap into their inner self and realize that they do have a lot of power if they tap into it, and they realize that with others joining together, they could make a difference. And that's the message here, that we have to see ourselves as part of the entire community. And out of this issue, we have met neighbors. We have really known who our neighbors are. We didn't know each other really before. And we have met practically everybody. Now everybody knows each other on a 3-block area. And that's powerful, because we're sharing information and we're sharing resources. Okay? One of our chants, una de nuestras consignas es: el barrio no se vende, el barrio se defiende. Vamos a comenzar con esa consigna, y lo que queremos saber es si we need a volunteer to lead the chant in English, the English ones, and I can lead the Spanish ones. So we're going to start now, folks, chanting. We also want to let you know that we have water and ice around the corner. And we're going to begin. Onion Flats, despierta, se te acabó la fiesta. 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 Onion Flats, despierta. El pueblo está en la calle, no hay nada que nos pare. El pueblo está en la calle, no hay nada que nos pare. El pueblo está en la calle, no hay nada que nos pare. El pueblo está en la calle, no hay nada que nos pare. El pueblo está en la calle, no hay nada que nos pare. El pueblo está en la calle, no hay nada que nos pare. El pueblo está en la calle, no hay nada que nos pare. Unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo 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 unido jamás será vencido. The next one. El barrio no se vende, el barrio se defiende. El barrio no se vende, el barrio se defiende. El barrio no se vende, el barrio se defiende. El barrio no se vende, el barrio se defiende. El barrio no se vende, el barrio se defiende. El barrio no se vende, el barrio se defiende. We're going to do the English one now.
From our hood we will not be moved. 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 El barrio vende. El barrio no se vende. El barrio no se vende. El barrio se defiende. El barrio no se vende. El barrio se defiende. El barrio no se vende. El barrio se defiende. El barrio no se vende. El barrio se defiende. I said from our hood we will not be moved. From our hood we will not be moved. I said from our hood we will not be moved. 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 I said from our hood we will not be moved. From our hood we will not be moved. When our neighborhood is under attack, what do? Stand up, fight back. When El Barrio is under attack, what do? Stand up, fight back. I said what do we do? Stand up, fight back. I said what do we do? Stand up, fight back. I said what do we do? Stand up, fight back. I said what do we do? Stand up, fight back. El Barrio se defiende. El Barrio no. El barrio se defiende. El barrio no se vende. El barrio se defiende. El barrio no se vende. El barrio se defiende. No se vende. El barrio se defiende. El barrio no se vende. El barrio se defiende. El barrio no se vende. El barrio se defiende. From our hood we will not be moved. 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 I said from our hood we will not be moved. 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 Power to the people. Power to the people. All power to the people. All power to the people. Power to the people. Power to the people. All power to the people. All power to the people. Power to Howard. Power to Howard. Hope for hope. Hope for hope. I said power to power. Power to Howard. Hope for hope. Hope for hope. I said from our hood we will not be moved. From our hood we will not be moved. I said from our hood we will not be moved. From our hood we will not be moved. I said from our hood we will not be moved. From our hood we will not be moved. I said from our hood we will not be moved. From our hood we will not be moved. El barrio no se vende. El barrio se defiende. El barrio no se vende. El barrio se defiende. El barrio no se vende. El barrio se defiende. El barrio no se vende. El barrio se defiende. Woo! Power to the people.
Power to the street.
Do we have any residents that want to say a few words? Ingrid, you're so quiet. Come on. Come on, girl.
Good afternoon, everyone. I have been a resident here over 15 or 16 years now, I believe. It is time for all of us to stand up, whether you own, whether you rent. It is time for all of us to unite and be together in this one cause. This will affect all of us. Perhaps it may not affect you now, but it will affect probably some loved ones, like your grandparents, your mothers, your children in the future. We cannot be moved. We have to stand for what's right. The majority of the people who reside in this neighborhood, a lot of us, we work for helping others, individuals as ourselves or individuals with low income. And a lot of times, if you know about working in the social services, you know what kind of income you have. Therefore, we cannot afford thousands of dollars every year to be raised in property taxes. That's right. Yep. Pay attention, people. Thousands of dollars. Along with that, there will be other stuff that will be increasing. Pay attention. Everything is different from the moment that I moved in here from 2004. Pay attention. Support one another. Be respectful of one another, but they also have to respect us. And our opinions count. Yeah. Voice your voice. Don't stay shut. Open your mouth and be clear as to what it is that you want. El barrio no se vende. Our neighborhood is not up for sale. That's what it says. We will defend our neighborhood. Thank you. Yeah.
Ana Martinez.
Hi everyone, I'm a homeowner, and when I purchased my house across the street, La Torre through Norris Square, I also work for Norris Square, awesome. My plans was to bring my two girls in. They were little at the time, now they're 31 and 27, and I have a grandson. I work as a paralegal, I work for Norris Square. I've been very active but life took its toll, stress, and I'm on disability now, so I'm not making the income that I used to be before. I used to be in all the Aldea papers. I was very active. Now, I came out of my house. I suffer from depression and anxiety, but I had to step out for the future of my daughters. That's my investment. If I die, that is the money I'm leaving my 2 daughters and my grandson. I've been told I'm living on a landmine. Well, that's good, but I plan to, hey, let my kids enjoy that landmine once they decide to sell. I'm very excited. I haven't felt like this in years. And I am tired. We are not going to be chased out. This is our community. This is our investment. This is our community. Those houses are very unattractive. I'm sorry, but a community is this. It's people, not fancy buildings. Thank you.
We're going to have one of our the brothers from the Education Liberation Center come up to lead some chants. But I just want to mention to you that we organize ourselves and gave ourselves a name just for the purposes of opening a Facebook page. In that way, we'll be able to network with other groups and share information, and for residents to share information and post comments and suggestions as this issue unfolds and others in the neighborhood. So the page, the Facebook page is Norris Square Community Action Network. It's a loose organization. It's not a formal organization. It's just representatives from 3 blocks in the area, but we hope that it will grow. So please visit our page, click like, and share whatever information you have, so in that way we can monitor what's going on in other areas of the neighborhood, and possibly not only have you support us, but for us to also support those folks. So we're gonna do a couple of chants now, and then we'll have, at the end, we'll have a speaker before we break out.
They say gentrify, we say occupy. 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 Hey. Yeah. Sir, yes, sir. Hold up. These are...
Aquí estamos, aquí nos quedamos.
Aquí estamos, aquí nos quedamos. Aquí estamos, aquí nos quedamos. Aquí estamos, aquí nos quedamos. Aquí estamos, aquí nos quedamos. Aquí estamos, aquí nos quedamos. Aquí estamos, aquí nos quedamos. Aquí estamos, aquí nos quedamos. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. 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 The people united will never be defeated. 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 El barrio. How'd it go? El barrio no se vende. El barrio se defiende. El barrio no se vende. El barrio se defiende. El barrio no se vende. El barrio se defiende. El barrio no se vende. El barrio se defiende. El barrio no se vende. El barrio se defiende. El barrio no se vende. El barrio se defiende.
Taxes are up, rent's too high. What? They say it's affordable, that's a lie.
Taxes are up, rent's too high. They say it's affordable, that's a lie.
Taxes are up, rent's too high. They say it's affordable,
That's a lie.
Taxes are up,
Rent's too high.
They say it's affordable,
That's a lie.
Taxes are up. Rent's too high. They say it's affordable.
That's a lie. Onion Flat stinks. Onion fat 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 stinks. Stinks. Louder. Onion fat stinks. 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 Louder. Onion fat stinks. Onion fat stinks. What? Onion fat stinks. 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 El pueblo en la calle, no hay nadie quien lo pare. El pueblo en la calle, no hay nadie quien lo pare. El pueblo en la calle, no hay nadie quien lo pare. El pueblo en la calle, no hay nadie quien lo pare. El pueblo en la calle, no hay nadie quien lo pare.
Let's march!
Huepa.
Can we march and make a scene and lead everything?
Despierta, despierta. That was hard.
Aquí estamos,
Aquí estamos, aquí nos quedamos, aquí estamos,
aquí nos quedamos, aquí estamos, aquí nos quedamos. They say gentrify, we say occupy. They say gentrify, we say occupy. They say gentrify, we say
occupy.
They say gentrify.
We say occupy.
They say gentrify.
We say occupy. We say occupy. They say gentrify.
We say occupy.
They say gentrify.
We say occupy.
They say gentrify.
We say occupy.
They say gentrify.
We say occupy.
They say gentrify.
We say occupy.
They say gentrify. We say occupy. They say gentrify. We say occupy. They say gentrify.
We say occupy.
They say gentrify.
We say occupy.
They say gentrify.
We say occupy.
They say gentrify.
We say occupy.
All power to the people! All power to the people! Look, we can't let this be a mobilization. We got to turn this into organization. We got to have a strategy going forward. So look, on these signs, fb.com/Norris Square Can. Give it a like. Look out for flyers. If you live in the neighborhood, we're going to be going door to door. But we got to have a mass meeting. We got to get organized and plan next steps so we can continue and build on this power that we built today. All right? That sound good? Yeah. Because we're going to keep fighting. We're not going to let the fire burn out. Is that right? Yeah. Are we going to keep fighting? Yeah. Are we going to let the fire burn out? No. That's right. All power to the people. 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 Thanks, y'all.
All power to the people.
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 There's literature here.
Yes. Please help yourselves. We have a lot of literature, articles, reproductions of articles that have been published in different newspapers regarding gentrification in the area. There's also information on different bills, proposals that some city council members have made to supposedly increase the supply of affordable housing and also eliminate or reform the property tax abatement programs that are really fueling a lot of displacement in this city. We would like to finish. First of all, thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much. Let's keep this up. Let's keep alert. Let's keep engaged.
Let's march, baby.
And let's continue marching and protesting until the city gets the message from the elected officials that they have to listen to the community. We're going to end. And I will ask all of you, this is not a religious activity by any means, and you can opt out. But we're going to ask the Reverend to close with a powerful message and a prayer. We all need that. We're going to go home peaceful. We're going to go home joyful that this
humble, but first activity that we have organized has been so rich. And that really satisfies our souls, I have to say. I'm really happy. I'm really happy, and I'm so pleased to see so many people, diverse people, and that's important things. And like they say, the cliche, in diversity, there's strength, and there's strength here. There's strength. They want to march, so let's give it up. Let's march for 2 minutes, and then we'll close with a message from the Reverend. Guys.
We cannot.
No, we can't.
The traffic. Go to 88. Here we go. Okay. No to 88 units. No to 88 units. No to 88 units. No to 88 units. No, we can't go that way. No to 88 units. 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 No to 88 units.
From our hood,
we will not be moved.
From our hood, we will not be moved. From our hood, we will not be moved. From our hood, we will not be moved. From our hood, we will not be moved. From our hood, we will not be moved. From our hood,
I thought you was marching.
From our hood, we will not be moved.
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 Said from our hood, we will not be moved.
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 Hey, listen, everybody, if you're gonna make a post on Instagram, Facebook, etc., hashtag Stop Onion Flats and El Barrio No Se Vende, right?
All right.
All right, thank you, son. We believe in lives over luxury. We believe in lives over luxury. That's what the Poor People's Economic Human Rights Campaign has stood for. That's what all of us have stood for all of our lives.
People are more important.
And now it's all about luxury. But I'm here to say to you, let not your heart be troubled. Today was a great beginning. Coming together is a beginning. Staying together is progress. Working together is fulfillment of the plan. So we're here to not only mobilize, as the gentleman said, but to organize. And as we organize, we want to make sure that the first become last and that the last become first. What they counted us out, but we're not knocked out. So we're going to rebound, and we're going to show them that their backroom deals and all of their dirty dealing and gentlemen's agreement are not going to work. So I leave you with these words. We don't have a spirit of fear. We cannot be afraid of what's about to happen or what might happen. We have a spirit of power.
Yeah.
Power is in the people. And we don't need all the people. We just need the people right here. And we can turn the world upside down. And the love for one another, love for God if you believe, love for your community, love for your children and your elders. That's what's going to take us to the next step. That's what's going to preserve us, and that's how you're going to win this war. Because it is a war. They have declared war on us without firing a shot. They declared war on us without sending in a troop. When the developers come, that means the war has begun. But there's no army like the people's army. Ain't no army like the people's army. Ain't no army like the people's army. And when the people rise up, the enemy has to back down. So continue to rise, continue to organize, continue to pray. Amen? Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend. Ingrid, are you around? Ingrid, can you make the announcement of the hashtag? Oh, it was announced already? Okay, here we go again.
You guys know we live in the world of social media. You guys know that once we start making a lot of hashtags, it gets followed by this group and the other. So if you're using Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, use Say No to onion flats, and also you say stop onion flats for both of them, Instagram or let's see how much noise you guys can help us make. Let's make a whole lot of noise. And as the song says, what Jennifer Lopez says, let's get loud, people!
Please visit Norris Square Community Action Network. That's the group that is represented here, the group of residents share information, suggestions, comments, and we, through that page, we're going to monitor development in the area, and we're going to monitor the development here and put some pressure where we have to, which is the city and the local elected official. Okay, guys? Please, we're going to collect Maria Quiñones Sanchez, our council member.
Whoever voted for it.
Yes. We're going to collect the placards, guys. I think the guys from the Central Education Liberation Center are going to collect them. So we ask you to please give them your placards. And if anybody has an announcement, actually there is an announcement. There is a big activity taking place organized by the youth and sponsored by the Youth United for Change on Front Street. So I want a representative to please make an announcement of that activity on Saturday that we should all go and support.
We're going to be making signs.
Hi y'all, my name is Kat Engelman and I currently do civic engagement work with Youth United for Change, which is at Front and Berks. We primarily work with educational justice, but we've been doing a lot of, we've been doing a lot of voter registration, but also surveying the neighborhood of major issues. And we're having a community meeting on Saturday at West Kensington Ministries at Susquehanna and Hancock from 12:30 to 2:30, talking about safety and what are solutions that are positive, that bring the community together and actually allow us to have the things that we need to live stable lives. Because working class Black and brown people deserve to have that, and we don't have that right now. And so you all are invited. I have some flyers. They're not out yet on the table, but if you want one, feel free to take one.
We're going to share it in our page.
Yes.
We're going to share the flyer in our page. We're going to share the flyer in our page. Norris Square Community Action Network. We're going to share their page and disseminate the information. There's some flyers here, so feel free to take some. We have a last speaker, and it's a representative from the Philadelphia Tenants Union. They have also an activity coming up, so give it up for the rep.
Power to the people! Power to the people! Hey,
Hey, my name is Barry Thompson. I'm the president of Philadelphia Tenants Union. Hey, I'm not from this community, but when it comes to gentrifying, the Philadelphia Tenants Union is a part of every community. We out today, and we stand with you guys in solidarity. Hey, guess what? We got a plan and we got a campaign coming in the city of Philadelphia called Rent Control. So we ask that you stand with us as we fight the city of Philadelphia to try to get some rent control here in the city of Philadelphia. We stand with you guys. Power to the people! Power to the people!
Yes, we have a last announcement, Jackie.
Okay, yeah, Jackie.
Just so you know that we are going to be printing out posters, stop onion flats, and we're asking that we unify ourselves. You see it right there? That's what it's going to look like. We're going to be having a little larger than that, and we're asking to please post them on your window outside so that anyone that walks by can see the unity that we're together and what we're doing, you know, the purpose that we're doing. The fight has just begun. It doesn't really have to be a fight, but we're ready to fight if they do.
Thank you. So we're going to blanket, hopefully, all the houses with that placard. Stop onion flats. No to 88. No to 88. 56. No more. No to 88. Thank you, guys. Anybody has, from any organization, has an announcement to make? So you could take advantage of it?
Thank you for this organizer here who has put everything together for us. Has made things that we thought were impossible possible, because an impossible, if you spell it out, it's I'm possible.
Thank you, Nilda. They're going to be giving them out to everybody.
Hello, everybody. Just to make a short announcement, we have a film that we're going to show at 2557 North 5th Street at 6 p.m. I have flyers. I gave some flyers out. At 6 p.m. on Saturday. The film is called Huracán. We invite everyone to go see the film because it tells you about our resistance in Puerto Rico. And what's happening now in Puerto Rico is just a resemblance of what's been happening for 120 years of U.S. colonialism. So I urge you to come by at 6 p.m., 2557 on a Saturday to watch this great film. We will have a political discussion after the film, all right? Thank you so much.
Stephen?
Yeah, so I just wanted to invite everybody out tomorrow night. We're with the Philly Liberation Center on 2226 North Front Street. We've been organizing here for a minute, and I wanted to invite everybody to our film screening tomorrow night at 7 p.m. It's called Iran is Not the Problem, and we'll be talking a lot this week about the U.S. out of the Middle East. I also wanted to plug the People Power Gym, which is a free community self-defense program for anybody in the neighborhood. Coach Miles can raise his hand. It's our jiu-jitsu coach, and he can teach you wellness, health, working out, and self-defense. But the first self-defense is community. So thank you for coming out.
Yes, we have Gilberto Gonzalez that also has an announcement.
Hello, I'm Gilberto Gonzalez. I actually live on 1748 North Howard Street. A la orden, welcome. I want to invite everybody on August 17th. Philly Cam's going to be here in the park, Norris Square, and we're going to be showing 3 films. One is called Quest, which is an amazing film. The other 2, one is about Israel and his efforts with defending Puerto Rico and the Puerto Rican movement. And then the other one's going to be about the opiate epidemic, and it was done by a local filmmaker. So you guys are welcome. It starts at 8 o'clock in the park, August 17th. All right, thank you. Huh? No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thank you again, muchas gracias. And power to the residents and power to the people. El barrio no se vende, el barrio se defiende. El barrio no se vende, el barrio se defiende. El barrio no se vende, el barrio se defiende. El barrio no se vende, el barrio se defiende. No se vende, se defiende. Thanks, folks. Thank you. And let's keep connected through the Facebook page. Thanks a lot. Muchas gracias.
You did a good job.